Sometimes the best money that you will spend as a training exercise is to be a paying client in a salon. You see, that way you really know what it feels like to be a client. I absolutely love doing it. Now, I don't think I'm hard to please. I always want someone to be at their best and to impress me. I ask for their advice and I want the benefit of their expertise. Now, some of the salons I visit as a client do a great job. Others, well, they leave a lot to be desired. Now, recently I needed a haircut and I was staying in a hotel, so I went outside to find someone to cut my hair. Now, I remembered that I'd walked past the salon the night before, so I thought I'd go back there and see if they had any spare appointments. So I walked into the salon, and after a short while, a young lady walked up to the desk and asked if she could help me. To which I replied, would I be able to get a haircut anytime soon? She then stared at the appointment book for what seemed like an eternity, before she then walked over to a stylist who's with another client, and although I couldn't hear what she said, I assume it was something along the lines of, this guy wants to know how long before he can get a haircut. Then the stylist turned around and looks me up and down, says something to the assistant, who then comes back and says, we can fit you in about 20 minutes. Now, I responded by saying, I might pop back later, and I left. So what was wrong with that? You see, when I walked in the door of that salon, they had already succeeded. The money that they had spent on the location's expensive rent, the signage, etc., had worked for them. Effectively, they'd already made the sale. All they needed to do was to instill a level of confidence in me that they knew what they were doing, and they didn't achieve that. See, to start with, don't put someone as your first point of contact with the client who doesn't have the understanding or the people skills to do a very simple job. The appointment book was like every other appointment book. It has times down the left-hand side of the page and stylist names across the top, and even I could see, looking at it upside down, that they were not busy. When she went to ask someone else who then looked me up and down, it was as if to say, yeah, he won't take long. You see, there was no level of enthusiasm or service or even a smile that made me feel like anything other than a nuisance that they would get in and out as fast as they could. See, what should have happened is that ideally there would have been someone already at the desk. They should have made eye contact and smiled immediately and said something like, good morning, how may I help you today? To which I would have replied, would I be able to get a haircut anytime soon? He or she then would have looked at the appointment book, been instantly able to see what times were available, and said something along the lines of, one of our best stylists will be able to look after you in no more than 20 minutes. Perhaps you would like to sit down and make yourself comfortable. If you like, I could get you a coffee and this morning's paper, because we would love to look after you today. See, I would have sat down, enjoyed a coffee, read the morning paper, and perhaps have benefited from an extended scalp massage with my shampoo, and maybe would have even bought product and been a regular monthly client for years to come from that point on. How many clients do they lose because of the lack of a personable, well-trained professional at the front desk? Even if it was just one client a day that did what I did and left to go somewhere else, the lost revenue would probably pay for the wage of a competent receptionist and increase the salon's revenue dramatically. So if you want to find out about where I did eventually get my hair cut, then watch next week's video. In the meantime, thank you for watching. If you don't already subscribe to the 2-Minute Salon Manager, you can do so by visiting growmysalonbusiness.com. Have a great week.